Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Empathy Workout, actually Curious Empathy Workout number 8. Oh man, I see some beautiful familiar faces out there, and smiles is really making me feel warm. What a way to start. Oh my. Well, thank you for that, giving me that gift, just your presence here and your faces. And I'll probably do this a couple times throughout, but we really invite you all to turn your cameras on and share yourself with the community. But if you need to warm up to that, we understand that too. So the other thing that's customary here with the way we start is we get right into the engagement right off the bat. And every week here at Actually Curious Empathy Workout, we have a co-host. This week, our co-host is Mr. Alan Wood from Mortar. And Alan, the thing is I've started to pick on the co-hosts by throwing them the first happy hour question to lead us off.
Let's go.
Oh, you down? All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I got my own right here. I might throw you one right back. How about that?
You know what? I welcome it. That's a strong move. That's a strong move. All right. So this week I've actually kind of curated my opening questions. So there are 3. Okay. So you get to choose one of the 3.
I'll go right in the middle.
Okay. All right. All right, Mr. Woods. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. And I know the crowd will soon know you're an expert in many things. Let's see where you go with this. But they say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. If you could instantly complete 10,000 hours of one skill, what would it be?
Instantly. See, I think that's the thing that kind of spins it a little bit, because it's like you don't have all of the challenge along the way. It's just an instant thing. So instantly,
how do you feel about that?
Man, I don't know. See, this is a hard one, and I've actually done this question before. I think I would be like a horticulturist, like just out the gate, know everything about plants. And so then that way I can stop killing them. I've been doing better during this COVID situation. I started with like 4 plants before COVID, and now I have 28, I think, around the house in different places. But I'm doing well. I only lost like 2 so far, so I'm doing all right. But I think if I knew more about horticulture in general, that would be the thing. Yeah,
it's amazing. I'm gonna have to. I know horticulture, if I'm honest with you, is a word that I use, but I've never actually looked up the definition of the word. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm proud of you for keeping those. Was it 26 plants alive throughout? You said you lost 2 out of 28.
It's still going.
Good job.
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Okay, all right. So since we have 2 more cards, why don't we do 2 more volunteers here in the happy hour round to get us warmed up? So the way that you can volunteer, and this will kind of help us for later on to learn this, is you can use the hand raise tool, which you can do on Windows by clicking Alt Y, or on Mac by Option Y. Ruby, so 2 questions here.
The one that's on your left?
My left. That's this one. Okay. I have to still do the
You do.
All right. Your question is, what is one thing you totally geek out about?
Yoga and meditation, because I know for me it's been the ticket to happiness, getting to my home, my inside home, and feeling maximum peace. And I feel like if more people were in touch with their own peace, we could externalize it. So I'll talk about it till the cows come home.
Oh, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. I've been deepening in my meditation, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you all later on today. And I haven't done yoga in a while, but I've stretched some. So in community, feel free to type in your answers when people share, so that you can be sure to have your voice heard or your thoughts seen. But there will be more opportunities later on. All right, we have one last question, and it looks like I had Beth. And Danielle, thank you for volunteering. Maybe if you're open to it, maybe when we start the next game, you can lead us off. What do you think?
That sounds perfectly okay with me.
Amazing. All right, so then remind me. Okay. All right, Beth. All right, last happy hour round question. What is one social cause that you are passionate about?
I'm very passionate about food justice because I feel like there's many reasons, but to summarize, I think because I think about it so often, like every time I eat, it like is there, and it's not just like some far away seeming cause or something. It's like it's something that influences people's direct day-to-day lives, no matter where you're from or what you do or anything. Everybody has to eat. So I think that just that universality of it is makes it really important.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And that's a really, really great way of putting it. I think in many ways, when we created Actually Curious, we thought of it as like something that was really small that you can get people involved in and down a rabbit hole. And when you share with me your perspective on food justice, I kind of think it's something that's within arm's length of everyone, and you can almost all of us could probably go a little bit deeper in our advocacy if we so desire. So yeah, thank you for sharing that perspective. I really appreciate it. All right. Welcome everyone to empathy workout number 8. Many new faces here this week, so I'll give a real quick background. Empathy workouts are a event series that we created coming out of the success of our card game at Actually Curious, and learning and deepening in our practice of how we could use the card game to spread the tools of empathy. We decided to host 4 events in the month of October, leading into the elections and leading into the holiday period, as a gift to our community, as a way to show how to use the cards a bit more to strengthen our empathy muscles, with our ability to understand ourselves and our emotions, our biases, as well as to strengthen our abilities at creating a safe space, at listening with curiosity versus with fear, and using those foundational tools to get better at gently recognizing the biases that we have, and strengthening our ability to help people to discuss the biases that they may have, that may be holding them back from growth or from connection. So this week, I am really excited to be joined by Alan Woods. Alan Woods, I would say, is this, so it's a great honor. This man speaks a lot. It took a while to get onto his calendar. I'm kidding, I'm teasing. But no, actually I'm not teasing, that's true. But also Alan, I would say he's a big brother, he's a mentor, he's a friend. He plays many roles in my life as he does also in many other people's lives. And he's important to the arc of this movement of Actually Curious, because we met at a time, which I don't really know if he's fully aware, but at a time where, like, actually to get out of my apartment to go meet up with Alan was a bit of a struggle, because I was working through a bit of anxiety, a bit of just kind of, I didn't even know what to call it at this point. It was so early, but coming to grips with struggles that I was having in my business and in my personal life. And I went out and I met up with Alan, and Alan, like, he just wanted to snap some photos of me and just to meet another person who's doing values aligned work in New York as he was visiting. And he really, he really lit me up. He really helped me at that moment to see a spark of, why it was, what it was that brought us together, and what I had to offer, and to, be able to, get some time on his calendar. It really helped push me forward. And so it's my pleasure to bring him here to discuss the topic of bridging empathy to opportunity, because as we all know, it's not well enough to be well intended. It takes quite a bit to go from an idea or a passion or a belief to believing in yourself, or then making incremental and then exponential impact with your idea and your passion. And so we're going to discuss that a bit. And so, Alan, I thought a fun way to bring you onto the stage would be to ask you your account of the first time we met.
Oh man, there was so much. It was great. I actually, I was backstory. I started off as a photographer as a kid, so I was a 12-year-old with a camera, and parents who were supportive of this thing that I wanted to pursue. And I've been taking pictures roughly 30 something years of my life. And I had taken a long hiatus, from the camera, where I hadn't picked up a camera outside of like my phone. I hadn't picked up an actual camera for almost 10 years, just because there were a lot of things kind of happening in my life, a lot of transitions. And for my birthday last year, so 2019, in March, I bought myself a camera. And I was like, I want to get back into this. And so I reached out to a friend of mine, Jace, who lives in New York. And I was like, yo, I'm coming to New York. I want to take pictures of people who are doing dope things, and just really have real good conversations with people, walk around the city, capture them in their natural environment, learn more about what it is that they're doing. And selfishly, it was also designed to help me to kind of gain my footing again. And so I wanted to talk to real people who were doing real things, and kind of get back into this world of photography. And everything was different. Like, when I tell you that 10 years, how long 10 years is, like, Lightroom didn't exist. For those of you who do photography or editing, Lightroom didn't exist when I stopped doing photography, and now it's like the primary tool to edit photos. So that was how I met Michael. We linked up, had a great conversation, a great smoothie, a crazy interaction. And I won't go into details of welcome to the, I was welcomed to New York, we'll say that. And and it was just dope. We just had a really good conversation. He ran back into the apartment, was like, hey, I have to grab something for you. He came down with the original Actually Curious deck. And we had already kind of been talking about what he was working on. And I was like, this is dope. You know, I came back to Cincinnati, and ever since we've stayed in touch. You know, I sent him his pictures. He's been using them, which means that he liked them and wasn't just using them as a courtesy. And, you know, we just have stayed in touch and continue to talk about this empathy movement. We have regularly scheduled calls that, you know, I think it's like once a month or something like that, that we just, you know, catch up, see what each other's doing, see how we can help each other, and just kind of have, you know, somebody else to kind of help kind of guide you through your journey. And I think that that's really cool to meet people in a way that is unsuspecting and then stay connected to them, because it's been I guess we're going into 2021 now, so it's been almost 2 years, which is crazy because it doesn't seem like it's been that long since we met. But yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I didn't know that backstory. I didn't know that you had just picked the camera back up, or maybe you told me and I didn't remember.
I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to be nervous, like I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just like, I didn't want you to feel like a guinea pig. So I was just like, nah,
Turns out we were nervous for different reasons, and so yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that I stumbled out of that apartment and down to the coffee shop to meet you.
Yeah.
And that we're here today. Because not only did Alan come with a dope camera, and by the way, I was saying to Caroline that I cannot find those photos, and I would really love to.
I got you.
You know, because I know how busy you are, and I didn't want to. I know it can take some time to track down files.
I got you.
You've archived them. You do? All right.
Yeah, I got you. I will find them. I will find them and get them to you. Yours are not difficult to find because I'm still sorting through pictures from like 2000, you know, trying to map out where I was when I did them and what camera I used, because I do post a lot on my Instagram photography page. So, and I'll put the link to that in the chat at some point. But I will find yours and send them over to you.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm being told that I'm running along, and I'm just loving catching up.
We're just having a conversation and people just happen to be here. So yeah, that's not what we're supposed to be doing.
No, I have some harder questions for you. So we're gonna do these, and actually now you're on the hot seat. I'm gonna ask for you, Mr. Creative Director. So this shouldn't be too hard to also like give the crowd a snapshot on these questions, but help me out before my producer, Caroline over there gets me. All right, so Alan, brother. Okay, you already gave us a background. You might have missed a few things. I would love if you could give us a little more context on Mortar and what got you to being the managing partner of Mortar and making that your day-to-day.
Yeah, absolutely. So it all goes back to photography in general. When I started, one of the things that I didn't realize as a kid was the level of privilege that I had, you know, to be somebody who says to their parents, hey, I have this goal or dream of doing this thing. And then to know that my parents can actually do something to facilitate that happening. So not only did they take me to go buy me a camera from the used camera store in Indianapolis that everybody went to if you were doing anything with film cameras, which that was the only option at the time. But they also took me to a gallery show at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis. And I actually met Gordon Parks there that day. And so I see some of your faces kind of lit up because you're familiar with his work. For the rest of you, please take the time to Google Gordon Parks. He was an amazing photographer, filmmaker, poet, author, who was the first Black photographer for Vogue magazine, Life magazine, directed Shaft, wrote The Learning Tree, amongst other books. And so when I realized that as an adult, I wanted to help other people kind of have that same ability to have a spark and have somebody to be instrumental in the in their lives. And so like when I met him, he said something to me that, that day I was like, boom, I definitely want to be a photographer. And so in the work that I do with Mortar, we teach entrepreneurship in communities, and we work with people who may have the gifts, talents, and abilities, but maybe they don't have the resources or the network or the connections. And so we give them access to those things by kind of creating this larger network where we can all work together. And so, understanding what I had then has really influenced what I have become for other people, because I know that I want to be the same type of spark that Gordon Parks was for me to other people, to help them pursue whatever their passions are.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I'm not sure if it's from you and I talking, or if Gordon Parks has come up on empathy workouts again, but I did not heed the lesson the last time. I'm definitely going to be doing a little bit of a rabbit hole on that. Thank you so much. All right, so you helped me out because you kind of covered my second question, which is, why'd you choose to, get into the work that you do? So let's go almost next level intimacy here. In the work that you do, any hard lessons you want to share? Any regrets choosing to go into a life of business and purpose?
No regrets, lots of hard decisions, hard days, hard choices, sacrifices. But speaking of going to an intimate level, my wife is actually in the chat. She just threw something in the chat that gives you more context to Mortar. Yeah, she's killing it. Yeah, I gotta get you gotta get you one of those. Like, I didn't even have to put the link in. I mean, this is, yeah. We definitely were made for each other, but it's definitely one of those things where there are sacrifices that you make. I know for a fact that I could be making a lot more money doing what I do for a corporation, easily. Procter and Gamble is headquarters here, and like I could be working at P&G making probably 3 times, the money that I make now, but I wouldn't make the difference that I make now. And so for me, I enjoy the challenge of going to work every day, and I kind of get to make up my job as I go, because I'm a co-founder. I'm the executive director. I decide when we do whatever we do. So if I say next month I want to do a documentary, then we're doing a documentary. And that's one of the beauties of kind of working in the space that I work in, and being able to determine what like the next steps are. But the challenges that come with that are the context of fundraising and development and building relationships around the participants that we have. So thinking about the entrepreneurs that come to our program, they are not necessarily going to be the individuals. This is a Shark Tank, so we don't get the people who have, these, $1 million business ideas. A lot of them are more mom and pop. I make bath bombs or hand soaps or, sweet potato pies, and I want to just figure out a way to bring additional revenue to my family, and then start thinking about what this means for a generational legacy. So that's part of the program too, is trying to help people to see it as bigger than we're going to do something today that affects our family, but how do you transfer this concept into something that then can affect generations down the road? So, I mean, that's the challenge for me, is to always kind of just think bigger. And sometimes that can be a problem if you are around people who aren't used to big thinkers. There are people who, if you're around people who tell you everything that's not possible, sometimes, you know, you start to buy into the things that, you know, like, am I thinking too big? But I just typically have never been that person to think that there's such a thing as thinking too big.
100%. 100%. I was, so first of all, shout out to the partners.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Kyla. Did I get that right?
Yep.
Kyla Woods. And also shout out to Caroline Belkia, who is my partner. And you talk about, you know, being able to go out and make risks. Caroline and I we're talking about, you know, when you have a groundbreaking idea or a groundbreaking idea or a different idea for change, usually if it is somewhat revolutionary, it's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. So there is a lot of naysayers, and you kind of need that partner or that partner circle, you being part of mine,
Yeah.
them supporting us, but that partner circle to push it forward. All right, so before we move into a quick Q&A and into a meditation, a grounding meditation, I would have one final question, because I want to make sure everyone understands like where you're from and what mortar does, and if you can just share sort of like one tip for an
Yeah, absolutely.
and creative or activist with change, entrepreneur with an idea for change that wants to get started.
Absolutely. So first off, born and raised in Indianapolis, currently live in Cincinnati. So I am a Midwest kid to my heart. But the thing that I would suggest for anybody who wants to have impact, and I'm going to reframe it, because I think that we all have things that we are pursuing. And I think that there's a way to pursue your passions most times where that it has some type of impact for someone else. So even if your passion is to be a filmmaker, you know, how do you create films that impact other people where it creates conversation or it changes lives or whatever? Or, you know, if your decision is to, you know, open a smoothie stand, you know, how do you have impact in your community where you're buying locally, you're hiring locally, and you're helping to share, you know, better eating practices, and maybe you start a nutrition program for kids or something like that. Like, figure out what it is about what your gift, talent, or ability is and how it can benefit other people. And I feel like there's almost no way that you can go wrong when you do that. So find whatever the thing is that you have been uniquely blessed with. And I believe that we're all blessed with some version of a gift, you know. So for some people, your gift is that you can type really fast. I'm not that person. So maybe your gift is to volunteer for some nonprofit who needs some assistance in that area. You know, there's something that you have that you might even be taking for granted, that you are like, well, nobody could benefit from this thing that I do, you know, but there's somebody somewhere that could always benefit from that. So see what it is about that gift that you can use to help somebody else get to their next level. I think that would be my challenge for everybody.
All right, we've got a couple minutes. By 5 after, I'd love to get into the meditation, but would anyone like to jump in and ask any questions here of Alan before we move forward? Thank you, Alan, so much for sharing
Absolutely.
that. While we get some deciders. Oh, Ruby's got a question. All right, Ruby, let's go.
Could you elaborate on the experience of how you monetize off of your passion? Because I sometimes struggle with charging for my gift, because I'm like, it's a gift, I should just give it away. But at some point it's like, no, girl, you have to eat too. So yeah.
I feel that. So I typically live in this kind of midway point where, because it is a gift, I can make the choice to give it away, or I can make the choice to monetize it. So if for example, with graphic design, which I've, my degree is in design. I've done a lot of design. And what I did is for my larger corporate clients, they paid for everybody else, because they have it, so the rate that I'm going to give a Target or somewhere like that comes to me as a client is not going to be the rate that I charge Michael. So they're going to pay for Michael's services built into their invoice, because then it gives me the ability to see somebody that I see doing great work, and I want to take my time and donate it to them and donate my gift to them. But my time has already been paid for, because I'm able to kind of leverage that with the clients who can afford to pay more. And then for the client who can't, it makes it a lot easier for me to say, hey, I'm going to gift this to you because I can. But if I am always giving away, I'm going to burn myself out, and I'm not going to have anything left to give when it comes time. When I find that person that I really want to give to, then I'm like, oh man, now I can't give them my time because I'm not charging enough for the time with my other people who can. And now nobody wins, and I'm not able to do the thing that I wish I could. The other thing is, just remembering that somebody pays for everything. Whatever it is, nothing is free. Somebody pays for everything. So, even if you're paying for the seeds that you plant in a free garden, someone paid for something initially. And then if you take the seeds from that and you plant them again, your payment is your sweat equity. So you're paying in some facet. And so, I think the other thing is just to remember that you need to eat. And, to do that, in the world that we live in, whether it's or you could always do bartering. I mean, that's the other thing. Like, even if you don't feel like you're ready to charge, trade, get the thing that you need to sustain you, to get you to your next level, while you're also delivering the thing that gets the other person to their next level. That was a great question.
Certainly a balancing act, isn't it?
Absolutely. Somebody say it like Robin Hood. Yes.
Yeah. That came in from Mike Tranowski, who's another big brother from a former life from my college years.
Awesome.
So anyone else want to jump in? We'll have one more opportunity. Robert, let's hear it. Hey, welcome, Robert. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from New York City.
Okay, welcome.
Glad to be here. Thank you for doing this today. So, Alan, I had a question. I work, I'm a coach, and I work with a lot of creatives. And most creatives that I know, and I'll include that, I'll include myself in that, find that they have lots of different ideas and they want to go in lots of different directions. And a lot of them won't make money unless they pursue all of them. What would what advice or suggestions would you give to someone who feels like they're pulling themselves in, like, I've got 3 different directions that I'm going in and I'm scraping by.
Yeah.
But what advice would you give to someone who is dealing with those challenges?
Stop it. I mean, so I have 19 new ideas every day. I can't pursue those. Like, it would be ridiculous for me to pursue those. So what I do is I look at my network, and when I have a great idea, I reach out to the person who I believe could actually implement the idea and has the time, energy, resources, talent to do the thing, and I gift them the idea. And then the important part about that is, after you gift them the idea, don't bring it up again. Don't nag them, pester them, don't worry about it. It's not yours anymore. It's a gift. It's like, once you give somebody a gift, every time you see them, you can't be like, you're not wearing the t-shirt I gave you. It's none of your business where the t-shirt is. It could be at the Goodwill. It's none of your business after you give it to the person. I give away tons of ideas because I don't believe that everything that's given to me is for me. And so otherwise we become hoarders. And then you're just like hoarding all of these ideas. And then when you die, you have billions of dollars worth of ideas sitting around in your home that nobody can utilize because you never wrote them down, spoke them out, gave them to anybody, had the time to actually do it. The other thing too is that try to figure out if there's a way to combine things. So in my role at Mortar, this is literally my dream job. I get to do everything I've ever done. So in a past life, I was a spoken word poet. So I used to write and speak, all the time. So I get to continually speak all the time now. I get to write blogs. I get to speak on stages. I've done a TED talk. I obviously I do photography. So I'm actually doing a project now where I'm going around doing a lot of photographs of different entrepreneurs. And so I still get to use my gift of photography. I still get to take pictures all the time. I want to do more with film. So I am actually planning on doing a documentary next year about entrepreneurship. And so it's like, I have literally created the job that allows me to do most of the things I'm most passionate about. And I get to help people. Like I love consulting and helping people with branding, brand strategy, development of their business ideas. And that's what I do literally every day, so it's like, I created the job that would allow me to live my best life and I get paid to do it. It's like getting paid to play every day. Now it's not to say that this is not hard work, but I literally get to create almost every day. And for me, that's fun, and if you can figure out a way to have fun, make money, take care of your family, and, imagine you're the guy who gets to gift the rest of the world with ideas, like people will always honor you for that, because you're Santa Claus. Like you get to go around and just like pass out ideas. Who wouldn't love you for that, especially if they benefit from it, so
you gave me a whole bunch of ideas of what I'm giving away for Christmas this year.
Absolutely. Hey, make it happen.
So thank you.
Oh man.
Absolutely. And I think Mike had his hand up as well.
Yeah. Wait.
Really
Mike,
short.
If you got time.
Go for it.
No.
Just really short comment. I just want to say thank you, Alan. And I just want to say I really love how your hair is changing the phases of the moon behind you. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but it's awesome. And I just
thank you.
It's
I try to position myself so the bun is like right in the circle.
Well, we don't want an eclipse. I'm not going for an eclipse, but
you get that eclipse going.
It's cool. That's all.
You might be the first person who ever noticed that, or at least the first person to mention it.
Look at that attention to detail. All right. That was amazing. And I just got a ton of ideas for future empathy workouts, or maybe it might be even a different format. Alan, we might have to go into the workshop and maybe I'm gifting you an idea, you're gifting it to me. I don't know, but it seems like
whenever you need me.
I mean, I guess this is what you do all day, is help people mechanize from idea to action. So, I guess it's obvious, but
it's fun, man.
I'm still kind of blown away. Yeah. I'm blown away. All right. So it's almost that time where we turn it over to you. But before we do so, we're going to do a bit of a grounding exercise. So at this time, I'd like to invite you to find a comfortable seated position with your back straight and your neck straight. Make your jaw parallel to the ground. Allow your gaze to soften. You may close if that's available to you if you'd like. You may close your eyes. And allow your body to become soft and relaxed. Now bring your attention to your breath. Pay attention as the air flows in and out of your body. Place all other thoughts gently to the side for this moment. And allow your breath to be your focus. Now gently bring your awareness to your body. You can start at the top of your head. And bring your awareness down to your eyes and your eyebrows. Feel if there's energy, breeze, heat, tension. Allow your brows to soften. And as your brows soften, allow the rest of your body to soften. Bring your attention down to your throat, your heart, your chest. Bring your attention to your stomach, the base of your spine. Bring your attention to whatever it is that's going on in your body. Get comfortable with the sensations in your body and observing the sensations. By getting comfortable with observing, we can allow them to subside. Now finally, bring your attention to your legs and down to your feet. Thank your body for supporting you and bringing you to this day. And start to bring your attention back to the room gently. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Thank you for allowing me to lead you in this meditation. Now let's let the games begin. So producer, you wanna? All right, so today's empathy workout, which we're gonna spend about 20 minutes and just to give you a sense of the run of show in case you need to hop off early. We're gonna spend 20 minutes on the game. Then we're going to go into some brief announcements. We have some exciting announcements, so I hope you can stick around for that. And then we're going to set an intention for the week ahead. Very big week, holiday week for most people here. And then we'll stick around for a few more minutes and play some happy hour and get wild, getting vulnerable. All right. So the game this week is called Bridging Empathy to Opportunity. The way it will work are each round there will be 3 volunteers. So if you're feeling brave, just go ahead and throw your hands up. I remember Danielle, you'd said you might volunteer. So if you can confirm you're down it, there you go, already up. Control Y, Alt Y, I believe. Caroline, pick me up if I'm missing that. What will happen is each round, I'll start off by pulling a question and asking the 3 contestants. After they answer, Danielle, you're going to be contestant 1, okay? after their answers come in, you'll use the polling function to vote on which contestant's answer you felt most connected to. And I'm sure you're going to feel something for everyone, but this is just a part of the game. It helps us to move on. It helps you to focus in on listening with curiosity to the responses. And also feel free to answer in the questions yourself. 3 people answer, you'll vote. The person who wins selects the next card, chooses whether we go up to the next level or stay in the current level that we are. You have to answer a question from each level before you unlock the next level. So it goes blue, green, yellow, and pink. And that's it. So let's go. Danielle, you're contestant number 1. Do we have a contestant number 2? Robert and Tamsin. 3 contestants are in. And your question is, what do you think you could become famous for? Danielle, you're up. And introduce like where you're from as you answer, as you introduce yourself to the community.
What do I think I can become famous for? Ooh. Well, I'm already famous in my own mind. By the way, I am Danielle D'Adamo. I'm a kindergarten teacher in Jersey City, New Jersey. What could I become famous for? I would have to say my ability to be open to communication without judgment.
That's great. All right, contestant number 2, Robert.
Robert again from New York City. I would probably say I would like to be known. I would like to be famous for being a vehicle for other people to find their voice and give them full permission to be 100% themselves.
Thank you for that, Robert. I can connect with that. All right, Tamsin, you're up.
Hi, I'm Tamsin. I'm calling from Colorado, though normally I live in Brooklyn and I was sort of displaced by the pandemic. I'm currently in my mom's basement. And what I would hope that I would become famous for is I'm very interested in the way that fear of being vulnerable like inhibits our ability to empathize or to act, especially in a political context, based on like laws that you create or policies that you support and how much those serve you. And hopefully I will be doing academic research on that. So it's a very narrow category of fame, like probably just some people who like spend a lot of time in libraries would think of me, but hopefully that.
Amazing. I love that you all went with sharing real things, real gifts that you have that you could be famous for. All right, everyone, it's time for you to vote. Whose answer do you feel? This is our first time using the polling option, by the way. Woo! Look at that baby go. Contestant number 2, that's Robert. Looking at you, but Tamsin, got some love over there for Danielle too, don't you worry. And everyone's a winner here. Thank you so much for sharing. This is really about us having the opportunity to just have a way of advancing through the rounds. All right, it looks like, wow, it's a narrow margin. I gotta wait. Anything else? This is like way closer than the last voting I paid attention to. All right. So, Robert, it looks like you win. So you stay on. Tamsin, thank you. Danielle, thank you so much. Okay. All right. We need 2 more volunteers. Robert, you got a choice. You've won a choice. Do we get to go up to green or do we stay in blue? And in the meanwhile, can we have 2 new hand raisers?
Let's go to green.
Green. Erica and Patrick, thank you. Great sports. Okay, I don't even know who was number 2. I think it was Erica and then Patrick third. So Robert, and you get to go. And then did you say green? Is that what I heard as I was looking?
Yeah, green.
All right, cool. I'll give you one other choice too. You can tell me when to stop with my finger for a question.
Stop.
Oh, all right. I was running out of real estate there. Okay. So the question is, when should businesses have the right to refuse service to patrons? Ooh. Tough choices when you're bridging empathy to opportunity.
So am I contestant 1 this time?
Yeah, you're contestant number 1, Erica's number 2, Patrick's number 3.
Okay, so.
And it's in the chat. Okay, but you don't need to worry about that.
Oh, okay. So the question again was, when should businesses, can you repeat the question, please?
When should businesses have the right to refuse service to patrons? And we're going to throw that in the chat too. And feel free to throw in answers if you haven't volunteered in the chat.
So I'll answer quickly, then I'll expand on it. When those patrons are being assholes, and what I mean by that is when they're disrespectful to the staff, to other patrons, where they're causing harm or any kind of physical, emotional, or mental damage to anyone.
I feel that. All right, Erica, what do you got?
Oh my gosh. I got that I want to put my hand down. Let's see.
That was a strong answer.
I mean, yeah, like let's close
you can
there.
say yes, and
I mean, I agree with Robert. And I'm like, where does the line draw? Because if you come into a business that I'm in or that I run and you're wearing a Make America Great Again hat, like I'm offended and I want to kick you out. So, oh, that's really hard. That's really tough. Like, it's like, this is like the question of the moment for me, because I'm like trying to, so many people are like, you need to have empathy for Trump voters and like find out what was in their head, and our country needs to come together again. And I'm really sitting in a place of like, F you, like you wanted to kill me. You don't care about my body. So I don't know. Dang, I should have found out the question before I raised my hand. I don't know.
No. Okay, or
if you piss me off, I guess. If you piss me off and you're not allowed to my if I'm the owner and you piss me off, and that could be anything from wearing, a MAGA hat to like being a jerk, then you're out. I don't know. But I'm sure other people think, because I'm Black, they shouldn't be wherever they are. So I don't know.
Where are you calling in from, America?
Maryland.
All right.
And I'm wearing my Kamala to represent.
I spent some time down in Florida, and it was hard. Southwest Florida. All right, Patrick, you're up.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Calling in from Brooklyn. And just to be upfront, I'm probably going to vote for Robert because he nailed the answer. But my backup vote would go to Erica because I was born in Maryland and love the state. So building off of Robert, I'm just thinking that a demanding customer who may be asking the business to go beyond what their capabilities are or their product line or whatever it might be, but a demanding customer who's saying, yeah, but this is what I want. Can't you just do this? unreasonable, outside of the business's brand or what their regular abilities are.
Wow. I gotta say, first of all, if I worked in y'all's businesses, I would feel really protected. Collectively, if you combine also individually, I'd feel safe. So thank you. All right, time to vote. I don't get to vote. I just get to watch. Which is, since this is my second voting experience, I'm learning. Robert, this might be like the first kind of, you just went back to back on the ropes. Erica came through some empathy uppercuts, and then Patrick closed it out. But Robert, you live to pick again. You are curating our gaming experience here, sir.
I have to say, I am enjoying it.
All right. Well, I believe there's someone here who's going to give you a run for the money here in the next round. So, Robert, are we going up to yellow, or are we going down the blue? Are we staying in green? What's the deal?
We're gonna go up to yellow, Michael.
All right, yellow for 300. RIP. Okay, we need 2 more volunteers. I was just told I need to queue a little more. All right, Carol. Carol's up. Excuse me, the veteran challenger. Carol has been a loyal supporter of empathy workouts. We love Carol. And who else? Alan, the co-host. Ding, ding, ding. Alan coming in. All right. So we're gonna flip this up a little bit. No, actually, we're gonna go with Robert first. Typically, Robert, usually the person who goes first doesn't win, but you went into round 2, went first, retained the crown. So let's see. This is fun. All right. You get to pick as well, Robert. Which one of these three questions here? You're on mute.
It helps if I unmute myself, right? Do it again.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Okay, you like that way. Okay, let's go.
Stop.
Okay, you could have told me the last card, Robert.
Oh, that's true. I could have said that too. Why would I make it easy for you?
All right, here we go. Are you ready, Robert?
I think I'm
You'd
ready.
be the first repeat.
I'm a little afraid, but I'm ready.
The first repeat. That's okay. That's right. Thank you for sharing that, Robert, for being vulnerable and sharing your fear. Okay. Imagine yourself in the future, Robert. What will your greatest accomplishment be? I heard that deep breath, so yeah. I'm really ready.
This is a tough one.
Anyone want to go in for the steal?
So I would say that I left this earth, that my impact on this earth had a shift in benefiting humanity for the better.
Carol?
Hello, lovely people. So my name is Carol, and I'm located in Durham, North Carolina. So if I were to have a crystal ball and pretend that I know what my greatest accomplishment in life would be, is I'm gonna give a bit of context. I am a multimedia producer, video, audio, photos, the works, and I'm currently working at a nonprofit that we report on public education across the state. And one of the bigger accomplishments that I want, because it's one of the things that I love most about my work, is being able to talk to people and letting them know, making sure that they are fully aware of how powerful their voices are, and how, yeah, go Tar Heels, and how and how needed their voices are, and their power, and how much their talent and power is needed to make the world a better place. And then to be known as a great storyteller that was able to amplify the voices of amazing people doing amazing things in our world. I think that would be the thing that I would want to be remembered by. And my brownie recipe. I think those two would be it.
Amazing. I love the second cooking tip. By the way, we have to get your was it bread?
Yeah, like an apple pie. Was it an apple pie? We got an email about it. For real.
Really, it was a caramel apple cinnamon roll recipe.
We have to get you a recipe because there was a request for it. It was so sweet, and so, all right. So, Alan, imagine yourself in the future, Mr. Creator. What will your greatest life accomplishment be?
Man, how can I compete with the brownies? I would say the thing that, I strive for is legacy in general. So outside of being a co-host on the Empathy Workout 8, I want people to remember me for using the time that I had on this planet to make other people's lives better, and to help to improve their quality of life, with all of the gifts, talents, abilities, resources that I had, that I invested them in other people so that they could, experience life on a different level. And I don't bake anything, so.
Sounds like you're throwing in your vote for Carol. You booked in your. I love that. That's a strong empathy move here. The votes are coming in. I don't even have to say anything. It's not voice operated, obviously. Contestant 2, Carol. Robert, you're gonna have to live to join and compete another day, it seems, or maybe it won't be a competition this time, to be honest. And thank you for that feedback in the chat. We think about that often, but it's a nice mechanic at times, just to get the workshop going, and for people who aren't comfortable opening up, which is why we built it into the game. Carol Bono, you win. All right, so we got one last question before we close it out. I don't know why I ever think this can squeeze into 1 hour. So probably 1.5 hours, probably what is appropriate going forward. Maybe shoot us a note on email if you think that makes more sense. But Carol, so we need 2 more volunteers. It looks like Mike is already in. Put draw, Trinowski. And Kanene coming in late for the last round. She was the last round, and of course, Kanene would not be an empathy workout if you did not give your flavor to the occasion. So, all right, let's do it. Carol, as you won the last round, and just for you all who are new, what will happen after this, some brief updates. I really want to hope you can stick around to hear about some of our announcements, and then an intention, and just a few minutes connecting as a community before we say peace for the Sunday and into the week. All right, Carol, you're up.
Stop.
Okay. Your question, our last question for the empathy workout, or at least until we do the happy hour thing at the end. And that will really be the last one. Anyway, what does a life well lived mean to you? Carol, you're contestant number 1.
No biggie. What does a life well lived mean to you?
And feel free to throw your answers in the chat if you're not up. We'd love to see it.
I mean, I would have to say, even though it sounds so generic, but I would have to say a life with no regrets. Because you're gonna make mistakes. I mean, or I will make mistakes. I've made I've made my handful of mistakes. Like that's with no, there's no doubt. But I think that a life with no regrets, and also a life where I did everything that I could within my means to leave this world better, and that I raised my voice up when it was needed, that I did not just let shit happen. Sorry for cussing, but that I didn't just let stuff go by and I didn't raise my voice to say that's not right and make the world better and keep people accountable. But I think that would go like, that's what I mean with life with no regrets.
Thank you, Carol. Mike, you're up.
I was looking for the right verb, but a life where you amplify the love.
I co-sign both of those. Kanene.
Okay, got it. So the question was, how do you live a life with no regrets? Carol was already laughing. I didn't say anything.
No, what does a life well lived mean?
Well lived. Got it. Well lived. And I was listening to this whole session. I have now, I guess this goes into the answer. I have now prioritized self-care. And so I was in my hot tub this whole time, soaking in eucalyptus and rose petals and my crystals and my Buddha statue. And so I put on some lotion and put on a t-shirt and was like, okay, I'll be on camera. What is it? So again, it's what does a life well lived mean?
A life well lived means to you.
So a life well lived means I'm centered. Because once I am centered, then I can do the work that I was put on the face of the earth to do. I am here to entertain, engage, inform, and inspire millions of people. And I've been doing that. And I've done it with students for over 15 years. You know, I've been fired. I've been all kinds of different things. And then I look at the school and I look at the people like, okay, so now look where Black Lives Matter is. Look, all the stuff that you were that I was saying this entire time. And I was a liability, and now I'm the biggest asset, but you realize it too late. So once I take care of my self-care, so that when these daggers come at me, because I am the prophet, I can sit there and I can soak in my tub, or I can look out my balcony and I can say, Kanene, you done did it. Whether the people get it or not, truth will reveal itself in hopefully in my lifetime. So for me, a life well lived is once I am in my self-care, then I can show up as my authentic self, and I can battle all these other people who are not in their authentic selves and that are lying to themselves and believing the lie that is this society. But that takes a lot. So hashtag hot tub, hashtag soaking tub situation. Look out for the domain name. I just came up with it. And that's it. Self-care. Emilio, I think his last name is Zapata, said, I'd rather die on, he basically said he doesn't want to die on his knees. Right? I forget, he was like, I'd rather live standing up than die on my knees. Something like that. I messed it up. It doesn't matter. Okay. So the point is that self-care is it. And once I'm in self-care, then everything else that God has granted me and given to me, I can then do 100% and unconditionally.
I'm taking a little bit from each of you guys. Thank you for giving me a gift of what it looks like to live that good life. So the votes are coming in. Kanene, you've got a lot of votes.
Oh my God. Soaking tub situation.
I don't really know what else to say about that.
Soaking tub situation.
Self-love.
Yep.
My personal mantra for the day today was to bathe myself in luxuries. So I'm gonna
do it.
I
Do
guess I
it.
would probably vote for you. I'd like to amplify the love too.
Yep. The love. Yep. No regrets.
But you need the
All of it is
self-love
key.
in order to amplify the love, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Kanene, thank you. Thank you. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for taking part in this session and sharing your perspective with the community in the chat and live. From here on out, we can spend 5 minutes on the open forum, or should we just go right into announcements? All right, we're going into announcements. We already went over. Shoot me an email and let me know what you think about this idea of extending from an hour to an hour and a half. So finally, I've been teasing these announcements like a game show host. These cheap teases at the end. But here we are. So next week, we're really excited to announce our first ever holiday resilience wellness festival. And the idea there is everyone is going to be, they're going to be, not everyone, but a lot of people who are going to be competing for your attention and for your money. And that is not our style. So we did the opposite of that, go the opposite way. And so what we are doing is curating a day of talks, performances, workshops to help strengthen your resilience and give you a break in between the Black Friday and all that stuff. Wait, back one more. And then we're going to be doing only 2 more empathy workouts for the year. And then we're going to take a little break for our self-love, but not only for self-love, but to retool, because we're really enjoying creating these experiences. And we want to, I'm going to do more reading and research and just really bring that into an amazing 2021. So I'm hoping to see you all at a few of the events through the end of the year. The Wellness Festival will include, as I said, talks. So Kanene, who just closed this out in the pink round, will be here to lead us in an anti-racism and allyship talk. We're going to lead off, actually Josh, who's here in the community here, is going to help us out, leading us off with a talk about digital wellness and resilience against burnout. We have an amazing speaker, Divine Bradley, who's going to join us and speak about reinvention. And then we're going to have performances that mix into those narratives, you know, how we do here at Empathy Workouts, that keep it on theme. And we can't wait. We can't wait to see you all if you can make it. Next week, it'll be 3 hours from 2 to 5. And with that, I will close us off with an intention for the week. And that intention is, I give thanks for my natural gifts and I share them with the people I love. And the inspiration there, I really love how you all come here, join us on Sundays and add to the tapestry of this discussion. And I light up every moment because it was you all expressing this naturally. I couldn't have predicted that you all would take so naturally to speaking about spreading your natural gifts throughout the questions. And so that's really what the Actually Curious movement is about, is having love and empathy for ourselves, deepening in our tools at connecting to what we like, what we don't like, what's giving us discomfort. And, you know, and Alan, when you were just talking about, you know, your just describing the joy with which you get to approach your days. I've had so many struggles in the last year, but anytime anyone's asked me along the way whether I wanted to give it up or not, I know that the feeling of waking up on a Monday or waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and being excited, even if it is a bit of anxiety, like excited by the signal that that's trying to tell me to go do something with this inspiration. So I just want you all to give that some thought. What are your natural gifts? What's in arm's length that you can share with your family, with your friends, with your partner right next to you, with your dog, if you can hear the dog barking, maybe you guys can hear. But what are your gifts? And start there, because it's addictive. It's addictive, y'all. Here we are in empathy workout number 8 when we started out to do 4. So that's it. Thank you for joining us for another Sunday empathy workout. And I hope to see you next week. For those who are sticking around, I've got a whole stack of cards, not curated at all. Good to see you, Josh. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Ruby, oh, thanks. Nice to see you. Robert, welcome, and thanks again for sharing. All right, well, I mean, if anyone wants a question, just throw the hand raise tool up. And also, if it's outside of the happy hour questions, then that's fine too. We're gonna play until 3:30. No, hop off. Any hand raisers? DJ, good choice. Mike? All right, Mike. Mike, welcome.
It's good to see you, Mike.
Thanks for joining, buddy. Good to see you. All right, y'all. You know, I always make it a point of outing myself on something, and now Mike gets to be a part of it. But yeah, Mike is an OG throwback. We were in an a cappella group together in college called the Buffers. He sang bass. I sang baritone.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun. All right, Mike.
Go.
All right, there's like a whole stack here. So let's just see what happens.
Wherever.
All right. What is the absolute best thing to do on a sunny day?
Be outside. Anything outside. I mean,
All right, one thing. Give me one thing, because I'm sometimes outside challenged being
okay.
considered.
I mean, my favorite thing to do is to be moving, to be walking, to be running, and to get to whatever nature you have near you. So whatever you can get to out your door, even if you're in the middle of the city, there's some kind of park or river walk or something nearby. So yeah, get out and hear the birds, and that's what I would go with, and move.
I love it. Where are you living now?
I'm in Colorado. I've been out here for 10 years. And the nature is one of the reasons that I'm here.
That makes sense. All right, cool. Erica? Am I calling on you, or did you volunteer?
No, I didn't volunteer. Did I unmute myself?
You did not?
You can call on me if you want. I'm always happy to share, but I don't think I volunteered.
All right, Erica, help me out.
All right.
Sahil, I would love to, let's see if you're up to a question next.
I'm up. How do I pick?
All right. So, okay, yeah. Okay, I had it the other way. Okay, how about this? Yeah, you pick. Let's go with that.
All right, stop.
All right. Do you believe in magic?
I believe in black girl magic.
Ooh.
I mean that. I'm not saying that facetiously. I think there's something really deep and different and transcendental in Black women. I think it's like, it's beyond the human realm, what Black women are able to achieve and think, and the planes we're able to manifest. So I believe in black girl magic, genuinely.
I love that. Thank you for, I felt that wash over me. I felt that magic. All right, Sahil, what do you think? You up?
Yes, I'll give it a try, Michael.
Amazing. And let's go. Where are you calling in from, first of all?
I'm from India, and it's actually 2 a.m. in the morning here, but I'm just not willing to leave the Zoom conversation. It's been really nice. It's my first ever empathy workout, and it's been really nice. Yeah. Glad to be here.
Amazing, brother. Thank you for
Glad to
sticking around. Thank you for calling in at crazy early in the morning. Never too early. You win. You win, brother. All right.
I think, yeah, stop. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. 2 a.m. All right. Let's see what you're going to do with this at 2 a.m. in the morning. Ghosting is real. Have you ever ghosted someone or been ghosted yourself?
Both. I am in the HR team, so unfortunately, knowingly or unknowingly, I have ghosted a lot of candidates, and I've been ghosted myself. So, yeah, I'm not really proud of it, to be honest. And a lot of times you don't really want to do it on purpose. It's just that you get a lot of influx of candidates, and it's very difficult for you to say a rejection email to all of them if you don't have an ATS system. So it's not on purpose or design that I would want to ghost out on candidates, but yeah, I'm being guilty of ghosting. Yep.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna take the picture of the HR professional that I keep throwing things at every time I feel ghosted. I'm gonna take that down now, Sahil. You helped me to deepen my empathy. And brother, let me know, am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, Michael.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right. Amazing. Thanks for calling in from India. I feel super honored.
Thanks.
I know. All right. So let's see. Some new voices. Jennifer, what do you think? You down to do a question?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you. I keep turning it around. Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Shasta Lake, California.
Chester Lake, California. Is that Northern California, Southern Cal?
Oh, yeah. Shasta Lake is it gets pretty close to being as northern as you can get. And then you get into the mountains and then you're in Oregon. So.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for representing for Northern Cali, Northern Cali. All right, you're up.
Stop.
Okay. Your question is, Jennifer, from, I think, Chester Lake?
Shasta with an S.
Shasta. Okay. Yeah. Shasta Lake, Cali. Your question is, everyone has a guilty pleasure and yours is blank. And this will probably be our last question, so I'd love to see some answers coming in the chat. Or actually, anyone who's willing to share after Jennifer, just share real fast what your guilty pleasure is.
It's COVID, so feeling guilty about anything that brings happiness is like difficult to do. I happen to be a really big K-pop fan, specifically BTS, and people think that's very strange because I'm 37. But it's very difficult to feel bad about that because I've been alone in my house basically since March, and they make me smile. So that's it.
Ooh, I want some K-pop tips. Send us some K-pop tips.
Okay. BTS released an album on Friday. It's called B, and it's like a hug. Just like the hug that you need right now. So that might help somebody.
I personally don't apologize for any aspect of myself, period. I don't care. And you know, everybody shares or doesn't share, and sharing is vulnerability. So for someone to then like, because you shared something about yourself, I'm like, well, what's wrong with you? You know? So you hold your farts probably. I mean, you know, you fake. So, you know, whatever. Just do yourself.
Yay.
Jennifer's cracking up.
What?
It's true. Weirdo.
Did you just share a guilty pleasure secretly in one of those?
Who me? I mean, I was just encouraging her that you know, guilty pleasure or not. Like, what is my guilty pleasure? Okay, so there's like a ridiculous amount of Fendi sunglasses in my closet. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's literally like, until I moved and then I put them all together, I was like, okay, this is a bit much. But to me, they're really, really fun. And like, I'm very pro-Black and I believe in Black designers. But sometimes, you know, something is just good, and Fendi's are good. And so I get a lot of them. And that's just that. There's no guilt. There's no guilt about it. Exactly. I mean, they look, and usually I wear them, but again, I just got out the soaking tub. So I'm just like, I'm here, but like, Fendi. And that's that.
Well, if I know now that if this this spreading empathy ever starts to yield financial abundance, I know exactly what gift to get you.
I'm gonna get a pair right now just to show, but you all continue. I have it on speaker. It's literally like 10 seconds, but they're sublime to me. I'm like, who made these? They were made for me.
Erica, yours is letting your kids do whatever they want. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I feel I'm just only started to have that empathy when I see like a parent who's just like, yeah, you know, I need to just let them go for a moment.
Yeah, including like let them. I don't know if it's empathy though, because then like we let them wreak havoc on other people's lives, but it helps me for a minute. So sorry.
Yeah. All right, my guilty pleasure is well, actually, I have a lot of guilty pleasures, and now ones that I feel okay about. But one thing that I want to stop doing is eating really heavy food before going to sleep and then waking up with indigestion. I do that sometimes, and it doesn't feel good. Beth, guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I just wrote something more cerebral in the chat.
Okay, sorry.
But I'm trying to let go of feeling guilty about doing things that are fun and feel good, and like worrying less about what it means or might mean or whatever version of it there is. But if I had to choose, I would probably pick I really like warm cocktails, like warm like coffee cocktails or cider cocktails and stuff like that. And I always feel absolutely disgusting after. Like they're always way too sweet and like gross and not worth it. But yeah, I'm still a sucker for them.
Anyone else want to share before we close out? Anyone want to, even with without video, want to just share on voice?
Guilty pleasure.
Look that up. I'm just
guilty pleasure would be there's a show on LXTV, which is part of NBC, that's called Open House. And basically it's just a lot of super fancy houses that I'll never be able to afford.
I know that show on LXTV. Actually, early in my career at MTV, these two executives left to create LXTV. It's weird. Cool. Thanks for sharing that. I like that show.
I love, what is it? Oh, I watched Open House NYC too. Yeah. Oh yeah. I watched it this morning. I was like, yes. Oh,
They do like 4 episodes, sometimes 8 episodes back to back to back.
Oh man, those home shows are so addictive, aren't they? Wow.
Yes.
Caroline and I went and got pedicures yesterday, and there was a home makeover show going on.
George? Was it like George
Are
to
you
the
saying?
rescue?
Oh no, that's an LX TV show, right? I've met George. He used to be a MTV VJ. Is that who you're talking about? The guy with like the he's kind
Yeah.
of got like almost like a bowl cut kind of.
Yeah.
George Oliphant. Why do I know
Yes.
his last name? George Oliphant.
Exactly.
Wait, what's this TV station? So this is not HGTV. It's what?
No, it's part of NBC. It's one of the substations of it. It's called LXTV, and then they do LXTV First Look, Open House, George the Rescue, and Tastemakers and other shows. Oh, that's the other one. There's one show called Tastemakers Struggle Meals. Where has that been all my life?
I just want Kanene still cycling through these glasses.
I love it.
I'm trying to
Wait, I want to see the hat. She has hats too, and they're green.
I mean, and there's actually more glasses. I was like, I'm just because I want everyone else to like get to talk, and I'm like a slight distraction. But there's more glasses in there.
I want you to keep doing it.
Okay,
Is this only in New York? I used to live in New York, and
Take
they
care,
used to
Beth.
have open house in New York. Is this other places?
I mean,
Yeah,
Open
they
House
do
might-
like LA and other cities.
Yeah, and it's on YouTube.
All right. Big tip to close out empathy workout number 8. LXTV, production company who does cool local based makeover shows, as well as what is it? Like luxury places that we can drool over.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored by them, not at all. Hashtag. Mike, good to see you. Sahil, thanks again. Erica, thanks for sticking around. Jennifer, JC, Steve.
Thank you.
Peace out, y'all. Have a great week.
Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.